So, a bit of transparency here. In 2022, I did not read a whole bunch at all. I think I read maybe 8 or 9 books, and then most of those were nonfiction. They were like books having to do with like my profession. Did not read a whole bunch at all. And I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily say it was a reading slump or anything like that. It's just, I don't know what happened, because I did I read, what is the book called? See, I can't even remember what it was. Rats and Ruin. I read that book and I enjoyed it. I tried to read Foul Lady Fortune. Wasn't able to get into it. I'm gonna try finish reading it this year. What else? The Silent Patient, I think it was. I ended up DNFing that one. Yeah, so I did not read a whole bunch, right? So 2022 was an awful reading year for me, which is, I know like being a book talker and being a reader is not like defined by how many books you read and different things like that, but I just feel like I want to read more. Like I want to read more. So that's gonna be the goal. That's what this video is about. My 2023 bookish reading goals. And I know I'm a little bit late publishing this, but that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So starting off with number one is that I want to read more books. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of leeway and say about 3 books a month, which I know a lot of people read like 3 books a week, but look, I be busy. I don't enjoy audiobooks. So I'm gonna aim for 3 books a month and be happy with that. So and I feel like if I get back into like a solid reading routine too, that'll also cut down on my social media use, because I do end up on, there's some good and bad things about TikTok, right? So the good thing is like, I'm so happy I found TikTok in 2020, and like the book talk community and stuff like that. Like it's been great. Met a lot of great friends that have translated into like not just like these parasocial relationships, but I've like translated into like legit friends that I talk to on like Instagram and stuff like that. And so that's been really great. They got like, if you watch one of my if you watch my old booktube introduction video, I mentioned that it was during that time period that I actually got back into reading after like years of hiatus. I'm talking like 3 years of like not really reading anything. So yes, it's great. But on the other hand, I spend a lot of time on there. Sometimes it's just mindless scrolling, and it's really easy for me to get caught up in that. What was that? That sounded crazy. Okay. It gets really easy for me to get caught up in that, especially since I have ADHD. If I'm unmedicated, I'll get lost in that for like hours. And sometimes it affects like mentally. It's not always the most positive thing. I also follow like a lot of political stuff. I follow a lot of like inclusion, diversity, like a lot of different things. And sometimes those can be really heavy topics, and I don't always come out of that death scroll unscathed. So I feel like if I do some more reading, replace like my social media use with like reading, mental health wise, I'll probably go up like by light years. So that's what we're gonna do. We're aiming for 3 books a month. If I can do more, I'm gonna do more. That being said, my next bookish kind of goal is to also read through my TBR list. And I know we all make jokes about like just keep buying books and buying books and buying books and not reading them, but again, going that impulse spending that comes with that ADHD, it's gotten out of control. Like I have my library has quickly become more books bought than more books read. And in previous years, I used to take a lot of pride in the fact that like if somebody looked through like my books and stuff like that, I could give them a solid recommendation, because the majority of my books were actually books that I've read. At this point in time, I can't say the same thing. Most of the books are books that have just been sitting on there for decoration. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't want to be I mean, I love having books, like physical copies. I love reading physical copies. I love owning books, but I also I don't want to just be spending money and collecting books just to collect books. So my next goal is to not purchase any more books until I go through at least 2/3 of like my current library of unread books. And I'm gonna afford myself a little bit of liberty by like maybe gifting myself like a book or like a book a month or something like that. Or I have this TBR bingo thing that I might do that I'm thinking about, where basically like if I get like 5 in a row, then I'll allow myself to buy like another book. But I need to figure out some kind of system, some kind of way to curb like not only the spending, but like this collection of just like having books and not reading it. So if you want a video about what I end up deciding on how to get that under control, let me know in the comments. But something's got to happen. And the first thing I actually did is I went ahead and paused my book of the month subscription, not because I didn't like it or anything, but it was just kind of like that. I don't know, you can kind of see in the camera, that got ridiculous real quick. So that was step number 1. So I'm already getting there. Granted, it's only the 21st, depending on when you're watching this. It might be like the 25th or something in January, but a win is a win. Okay, my next bookish goal, I don't have very many actually. I think I only have 2 more. My next one is to get my fantasy romance book published this year. It was supposed to be published in October 2022. Ran into a really expensive hiccup with my editor that kind of prevented that. It just railroaded that whole plan for getting it published. This year, I'm gonna make it happen, because what ended up happening is I could have got it published, but I just decided to sulk and be a little bit salty about it for a while. Not this year. That book is getting published come hell or high water. So I'm super excited about having that. I already started looking for beta readers. I'm gonna have a whole video going through like what happened in the editing process, and I'm gonna share with you guys my self-publishing journey. So if you're interested in that, make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel, because I'm gonna give you guys all the details, because I really appreciate the self-published authors who like don't mind sharing their journey and like give the nitty-gritty. So I want to return the favor. I'm gonna be doing the same thing, starting off with that video about what happened to my editor and my next steps. But that's going to be coming up really soon, getting that book published as well. And then my last one is getting into reading more genres outside of just fantasy. Like I said, I've been collecting like a lot of books, but a lot of the books I've been collecting have also been fantasy, which is my favorite genre. But I've never been necessarily one who was like committed to only one genre, right? There's like a lot of books outside of fantasy that I just kind of want to get into and just explore, right? I've seen like a lot of, I'm a scaredy cat, so I'm hesitant to get into like the horror thriller books, but I did see a couple of TikTokers who gave some recommendations that sounded interesting. So maybe I might dip my toe into that a little bit. But there's some sci-fi books that I really want to explore and different things like that. So just like not being afraid of exploring outside of my genre. I've gotten pretty good, more comfortable about DNFing books, so this is why I'm kind of more comfortable with being like, okay, I'm gonna read outside of fantasy a little bit more, because I've also gotten more comfortable with like just being like, I don't want to read this book, I'll DNF it. The same thing happened with The Silent Patient. So yeah, those are my bookish goals for 2023. Let me know in the comments what your bookish goals are, whether you're an author, just a reader, maybe you're both. Would love to hear from you, and yeah, I'll see you guys with an update a little bit later.